We live in a twilight world. Let's do another quick recording, shall we? So yeah, man, about 2 weeks ago, I done an illusion warfare report number 5, Rhodes on fire. Rhodes is a Greek island that's very much a popular place with British and European tourists. You know, it's a hot spot, holiday destination. And yeah, man, there was wildfires. And I done quite a decent thread. I thought it was very decent. Didn't get a lot of attention. I mean, it got a decent amount of attention, but not as probably much as it should have done. Now, there are many reasons, I think, why. Obviously, the obvious one is censorship. I'm very heavily censored, blah, blah, blah. But also, I don't think, you know, a lot of people that look at my work are from America and Australia and New Zealand and places like that. They weren't hit as much with the outrageous blitzkrieg propaganda that we were hit with. Us over in Europe... Oh, hang on. Us over in Europe, and obviously in Britain, we were hit hard with the propaganda. It was a blitzkrieg propaganda campaign, basically making out, you know, that the whole island was on fire. And it was supposedly the biggest evacuation in Greek history. Apparently, they evacuated 20,000 people off the island because of these fires, you know. And they were using terms such as, you know, biblical catastrophe. And another one was like, what caught my eye and kind of what made me want to go is when I heard the term disaster film. Film being a key word there. Because, in my opinion, it was a film. Here's another one here. You know, survival exercise. Exercise, just like the military do when they're training, yeah? So, yeah, man. So, yeah, a lot of the people that look at are interested in my work. The Americans, Aussies, Kiwis, they weren't hit as hard with this. But what's very, very interesting, yeah, is that right now, at this moment of this recording, they are getting their own version with Hawaii. Wildfires in Hawaii. And then we got in brackets, apocalyptic, which is the same as biblical catastrophe. You know, these big words and the imagery they use. And it's, yeah, man, it's pretty much, I mean, just look at the image, look at the images they use, man. That's the giveaway, you know. Doomsday kind of photography. But yeah, man, as you can see, here's the one we had in Rhodes. For us Brits and Europeans, here's what you guys are getting in the Americas. And I'm assuming the Australians and New Zealanders are getting this as well because of their location. But snap, it's the same op. 2 weeks later, the same op. Of course, an illusion op to further push the climate change agenda. Believe me, guys, we're in World War III, and this is it, man. The op era, for sure. And here's a map. So when I was in Rhodes, this is a screenshot I took. The wildfire emergency alert system was active via Google, and they're basically warning you not to go there. Now, if you look at Maui, the Hawaiian island, same thing. Now, obviously, I'm not over there, so I don't know if it's exactly the same. I'm just assuming it's the same as what I experienced when I went to Rhodes. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that can't, you know, view my illusion warfare report, if I get time, I'll try and make like a very quick rundown over here on YouTube or Instagram, where I'll just put in the brief highlights of what I saw, yeah? Because I know that obviously, like with Twitter, you've got to put in a lot of your details, which I don't recommend doing. And Thread Reader app is a nightmare because it's not uploading the videos, and half of it is just really slow for me. Obviously, Thread Reader app works for everyone else, but for me, they're deliberately like jamming it up, making it kind of tricky to see my content. The first thing I did when I saw this over in Maui, I checked the flights, and the flights for me from London to get over there was about 1,600, was the cheapest I could find. Well out of my budget. That's more than I've got in the bank. So yeah, man, I've been priced out of this one, man. That's the problem with my current situation. Is I'm obviously a very anti-materialist man. I work as least as I possibly can. But then when things like this come up that are ideal for me to go and investigate, I just can't afford it. Yeah, 1,600. Yeah, man, it's more than I got in the bank. Just to give you some reference, like Rhodes cost me 160 quid return. So Hawaii's 10 times that. I guess we're quite lucky over here in England and Europe that we have budget airlines, yeah, like EasyJet, Ryanair, Wizz Air. I think B is another one. Yeah, man, budget airlines, really, really cheap air travel. From what I can gather, you don't really have that in the Americas. Or maybe you do, I don't know. I'm just assuming you don't. But yeah, man, thank the gods for budget airlines, because that's the only way I can afford to do this, man. Whenever something like this comes up, the first thing I do is I check the price of flights, and if it's cheap enough, I can go. I mean, just as a side note, I think that's one of the things I'm kind of like at a crossroads with in my life. Is like, do I want to continue doing this illusion warfare thing? Do I want to quit altogether? If I do continue, I need to kind of like have some more auxiliary money like ready so I can react real quick, because there's, let's face it, right? Since Ukraine, since my first ever one, there's been about 20 that would have been ideal for me to go to do and just tear apart, but I just couldn't afford to get there, And also, you've got to get there quick. Ideally, you've got to get there within 24 hours. Some of them, it's no point me turning up a week later, because it doesn't really, the naysayers will just claim that I missed everything and that I'm deliberately getting there too late. But yeah, man, images coming out. I mean, here's a guy just chilling. But yeah, man, you've got the vaporized cars, which to me seem very much like a prop, a bit like what I experienced in Kiev when there were just these prop cars, smashed up cars, just like placed all around the city, which obviously created a scene of like a war zone. I mean, all of this picture could be CGI, obviously. That goes without saying. But obviously with my work, illusion operations is a physical thing. I would say that, yeah, there are going to be burnt cars on the street because they want people to have the real experience of walking through that. That's if you can get on it. Like, the latest I've heard is that all the local people are not being allowed anywhere near these places, yeah? It's being sealed off with no entry for regular folks like you and me. That, my friends, is what we call metaphorically a film set. When we're not allowed on, when only their select few of agents are allowed on that are obviously going to film it in a certain light, that, my friends, is what we metaphorically call a film set, yeah? And as Sun Tzu said, Mr. All warfare is based on deception. There is a season for fire. And we are in that right now. This time of year, this time of summer, all it takes is a box of matches, and they are really pushing hard the climate change agenda, man. Illusion warfare all day long. We live in a twilight world.